Good evening and welcome. Welcome to Chillaxcin. Oh my gosh. Quick show of hands. How many of you all missed me last week? I knew it. I knew it. Thank you. I missed you too. And I don't know. Every 4 years when I look at Olympics, I'm reminded how little I paid attention in geography class. Like, where are all these countries coming from? Yikes. But it's over and I feel good about myself again. And I'm good. I'm happy to be here. Tonight, joining me is a two-time Olympian. She's represented the red, white, and black twice, 2004 in Athens, Greece, and then again in 2008 in Beijing, China. And she's joining us tonight to share a little bit about her experience and many other things. So joining me tonight is Candice Scott. Hi, Candice.
Hi, Cindy Ann. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. Thank you for joining us on Chillaxcin. Did you all see my t-shirt? Listen, we're stepping up. We're stepping up Chillaxcin. That's right.
I need to get me one of those.
I talked to Jason. So happy to have you here, Candice. So tell me, hammer throw. I had no idea that was even a sport. But what I did do is I came prepared. Just in case. I was like, maybe you might want to test to see, how talented I am. So I imagine what you need for that sport.
Mm-hmm.
No? Not
No,
this.
not that.
All right.
No.
So tell us, because I'm sure I'm not the only one who has no clue what hammer throw is. Tell me what that is and how you got involved.
Okay. So the hammer throw, just to put it basic, it's an iron ball on a piece of wire and a handle, right? And what the athletes do is they do turns, right? Some do 3, 4, and even 5 turns within a circle, right? And release the hammer. That's as simple as I could put it. But for women, it weighs 4 kgs. So that's about 9 pounds or so.
Yes. And you have to spin that?
Yes, you have to spin with it. Yes, you do. And how I actually got into it was I was introduced when I went to the University of Florida on a full athletic scholarship. That's where I started it. That was back in 2000.
So in 2000 you started, and in 2004 you find yourself in Greece for the Olympics.
Yes,
I mean, how
yes.
amazing is that? Let me
Well,
just
the
ask
thing
you,
is,
anyone ever, like, while doing this motion, like, just went airborne?
yes,
No.
yes, it happens. It
It has
happens. It
to. It
happens.
has
It
to.
happened to me. Well, as far as airborne, I would say you would have it can break, right?
Okay.
The wire
Okay.
that the ball is on
Mm-hmm.
can break, and that is
Okay.
what usually happens,
Okay. So tell
right?
me.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yes. So two-time Olympian, you were an elite athlete.
Yes, ma'am.
What did you get elite funding? You did.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I did get elite fountain, and that wasn't an easy thing. I mean, they have a criteria. At that point in time, I was in the top 20 in the world, and that was one of the requirements. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and you also have to supply receipts, everything that you buy, whatever you go and do, you have to have receipts for it to show that you're using the funds correctly.
Okay, so that was helpful for you in terms of financing, because I imagine you didn't have to come out of pocket. You weren't concerned about that, or did you have to approach corporate Trinidad and Tobago for funding as well?
Right. Well, at that point in time, it was sufficient. Right. I didn't have
Mm,
to go to the for corporate sponsorship. I was able to get everything that I needed at that point in time, pay the coach, pay for gym fees if I had to go and get massage and these kind of things in order to keep the body up and running. I was
right.
able to. make sure and get all those things done to keep myself in order
Well, that's good for you at the time,
at that
but
time.
it's
Yeah.
not always, it's not like that now, and it's not like that in every sport.
Right.
What are your thoughts on funding for our athletes to get to that level? What are your thoughts?
Right. Yeah. I think that they should get some type of funding, because if you're an upcoming athlete and you know what it is to be going to school, I would talk about college, right? You're going to college and you also have to work, right, in order to sustain yourself. And then on top of that, you still have to train. That takes a lot. That takes a lot. So once you're to get that support, some of those things are going to get eliminated, right?
And you
Because that's
think the
one less thing
funding
you have to
should
worry
be,
about.
you think the funding should come from the government side or from corporate Trinidad and Tobago side? What do
I
you
think it should
think?
come from. I think it should come from both. I think it come from both,
Okay.
because if you don't get from the government, you can try and go and go to the corporate side and pitch your talk. Can I put it like
Right.
that? And
Yeah,
see if
yeah.
it gets through. You understand? Yeah.
Yes. So tell me, because a sport like hammer throw, I imagine, is it more heavily on strength or technique?
It's a combination of both. I don't know if you
Mm.
did you do your homework? Did you go and look at any videos to see what or how the hammer is being thrown?
Well, I got a hammer.
Tinian?
I don't, and so I don't know. So clearly, I didn't research well. I didn't use like I didn't do
Right.
it
No,
right.
well, I would say it's almost like um it could be you look like a strong ballerina, right? Because
Mm.
you have to be graceful, especially for the hammer throw, because it's a technique. It's not just a run up and throw, or you're just doing a circle and you're throwing. No, you have to do 3-4 revolutions, and everything has to be in a certain order for you to be able to execute the throw. I shouldn't say perfect, but technically sound
Yes.
throw, because you'll
Okay.
never see a perfect throw.
Right. Um, I'm just thinking that with that kind of you do people ever ask you to be involved in the demolition process of a building? Because I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, hammer throw. You know what I mean? You're probably very handy to have around, Candice. Yeah,
Um, I would
sometimes.
I would think, yeah, I might be a little handy with the
I
sledgehammer,
might, I,
yes.
I might call you soon to do some. I have some. I'm just kidding. But listen, Olympics is over. It's done. But I'm pretty sure there are kids who watched the Olympics and are now dreaming of getting there. And and I know, because I had a son who used to swim, not at that level, but
Right.
enough to know that it's not just physical. It requires way more than the physical aspect of it. So tell me, how are you able to manage your mental health, your emotional health? Because you're going to strange countries. I'm sure a part of you want to explore the cuisine, the infrastructure, the art, but you're not there for that. And you have to stay focused. Tell me how you
Right.
manage that.
Right. So in my case, I can speak for myself. I was ready to take it to the other level, to the next level. I was ready to leave home, right? I was ready to go and learn new things, right? Go and explore. All at the same time, I still had my goal in mind, which was to get to the Olympics, right? So I can tell you something that happened with me concerning my mental and emotional health. Um, Back in 2002, right? We were wrapping up the NCAA, that's the National Collegiate Athletic Association, right? At the nationals. Um, my father was sick and he was in a hospital, right? Um, when I got back to my dorm in University of Florida, two things happened on that particular day. I remember it was a Thursday night into Friday morning. Let's say around 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I had dreamt my father, right? I dreamt him. Remember I said that. And then I was up after that. And then I heard someone at my door. She was saying, Candice, Candice, very faintly, right? So when I opened my door, I saw one of my teammates on the ground. She tried to commit suicide, all right? So after all that come and happen now, I got a call from a sister. That's within 2 or 3 hours I'm talking about. So I got a call from a younger sister and told me, Daddy died. And you see that? All those things happen within that short space of time. I was trying to get ready for the Manchester Games, Commonwealth Games in Manchester for that August holidays, right? I trained, I continued training, and when I actually went back to university in my first class, I sat down and I just blanked out, as in, while the professor was speaking, I was not hearing what the professor was saying, right? So
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, my father dead. That is when it actually hit me, right? That was a couple of months after. That is when it actually hit me. I said, my daddy dead. I don't believe that. So I ended up calling my advisor. And for the rest of that semester, I was in counseling. I went to counseling for that because I did not take the time to grieve.
Agree. Right.
So yeah, I didn't take the time to grieve for my father when he passed away because I was, trying to get ready for the games at that point.
Right.
So yeah, I went to the counseling. So emotional health is something is really is fragile, right? And you have to have the support around you in order to keep your mind together, if you want to put it
Correct.
like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said. Because I think in my experience, too often we do not pay attention to the mental health and the emotional health of just in general, not even just in sport. I'm speaking across the
Right.
board. We sort of neglect it, whether it's because of just shame, you don't admit that you need help or that you're, and it could be cultural, but I think it's just globally that mental health gets put on the back burner oftentimes. So I'm glad you
Mm-hmm.
spoke on going for counseling and recognizing the need for it if you were to advance, to put yourself
Yeah.
in a better
I would
place.
not have I would not
Very
have been able to
powerful.
complete.
Very powerful.
And
Listen,
it helped,
girl,
it helped, it helped a lot. Get
this
back
this is
stabilized.
the first time I think first time ever, please correct me if I'm wrong, that we did not medal at all in the Olympics. Nothing. And of course, there were a lot of noise on social media. People just have a lot to say. And you and I spoke about it earlier, and we discussed where I said, to me, because I do comedy, and the formula for comedy is tragedy plus time. That's what
Right,
makes things
yes.
funny generally. So that winning is really not. There's nothing really to do memes about and make fun of. Um, so what would you say? How did you feel looking at first of all at the Olympics and not seeing us getting on the podium at all? How did that make you feel? I saw an article where you said a lack of Caribbean flavor with hammerthrow. So touch a little bit on that for me. Watching the Olympics as an Olympian, how did it make you feel?
Right. So watching at the Olympics as an Olympian, I felt euphoria. It's only once every 4 years. And knowing that I was part of it, right? It brought a lot of joy to my heart to see it. Okay.
Yeah.
And as far as us not meddling, you know, as an athlete, I can tell you things happen. You train for a specific goal, all right? And you will have A day, B day, C days. And when you get to like the Olympics, you don't know what you're prepared for it, yes, but you don't know what kind of day you would have. If you would have an A day where you will, you know, put your best foot forward and make your personal best, or you can catch cramp. These things happen. right? So I just saying that there has to be a story as to what happened, and how come we didn't get any medals. I was really looking at the cycling, right? Because we had a couple of athletes in cycling,
Correct.
and I really felt it for those guys as well. I felt it for them because one of them had the world, I believe, the world record in the 200 fly, and he didn't make it to the final.
Do you
Okay,
think anything
so
it had anything to
things
do with
happen.
the postponement of the Olympics? You think that affected us at all in terms of the ability to train or
I
not
think,
train?
yeah, yeah, that has a factor to play in it as well because a lot of places were closed down. All right, and the athletes had to get themselves, they had to get creative in trying to continue. And at the same time, they wasn't sure if the Olympics was going to get pulled off,
Yeah.
right? Because, yeah, so it was like, okay, how do I train? Because you're training for the Olympics, and now the pandemic come and hits. How you going to change up your program? You don't know if they were going to actually have the Olympics. So it happened, it came off, and the athletes had to, rethink how they train and try to get ready as best as they could.
Yeah. Well, we have to wrap up, but I just want to ask you, you think you think we can shine again in the next 4 years or the next Olympics? Maybe is it three? Are we gonna do 25 or 24? I'm not sure.
It's next 3 years. It's the
You think
next
we
three
can
years.
shine and
Yes, I
how
believe so. I believe
yeah.
so. I think. I think so. Yeah, I think
Do
so.
you do you see the
Because
Candice
you
Scott?
see,
Go
if I
ahead.
see the
Sorry.
Candice Scott,
I was gonna ask you if you see if there's a vision that you can see the Candice Scott School of Hammer Throw.
okay. That would be in the future. All right. It
Okay.
wouldn't, I don't think it will be just hammer throw alone. It will be just it will be all the throws because there's hammer, there's shot puts, there's discus, all these things you know about, Indian.
Yeah. And then there's throw
Mm-hmm.
waste. There's throwing waste.
Hammer,
You have to
shot
throw
put.
some waste. No?
I think you might have to open that school. I'll leave that one for you.
Candice, very quickly as we close,
Yes.
can you swim?
Um, I self-taught with the swimming.
Good.
We used to go down to small boats when we were younger, my brothers and sisters and parents. And my
Hmm.
brothers used to swim out to the boats. And that was my goal at that point in time. I wanted to go and swim and be out there with them. And eventually I got there. And that was,
Nice.
how I, I taught myself to swim.
I want to thank you. We have to go. We can chat for another half an hour, but we have to end right now. Tell people how they
Yeah.
can follow you on social media and support you. So you can tell them now.
I'm not too much of a social media person, I would be on social media McQueen, right?
Okay.
I don't post content and these kind of things. Now on a day you will
Okay.
see me do put up something, but other than that, I'm not too much with the social media.
Okay. Um, and aqua aerobics is your thing. Is
Yes,
that it? Is aqua aerobics your thing?
yes, aqua aerobics. That's correct. Yes, and I actually love doing it. I absolutely love helping people in
So
getting
you teach
to
aqua aerobics.
their health. Yeah, I'm an instructor.
So why
Yes,
didn't
ma'am.
you
I'm an
say that?
instructor of
Let's
aqua
get more people
aerobics.
involved in aqua aerobics. So Candice is a teacher and instructor of aqua aerobics, so they can contact you to learn aqua
Hmm.
aerobics or to
At the
join a
Center of
class.
Excellence.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah,
So
at the Center of
Candice,
Excellence. Hopefully, when we open.
perfect. Thank you guys. And for those of you who are with us, thanks for joining us again. Hope to see you guys next week. Have a good week. Remember, you follow me on Instagram at Cindy Ann Boisson. And thanks for chillaxing with us tonight. Bye.